My dad regifted my birthday present to my sister, still in the box with my name on the card in front of me. Mom said, "You're 30. Birthdays don't matter." I smiled and left. That night, I withdrew the Spain trip I'd booked for their 40th anniversary, $18,000. When the confirmation cancellation arrived in their email, Dad held up the box so everyone could see it. Same silver wrapping paper Mom always used. Same curly ribbon. Same tiny white envelope taped to the top with my name in her handwriting. "Okay, birthday girl," he said, "but I think Emma should open this one." He put the box in my younger sister's lap. I actually laughed at first. I thought it was one of those family prank things. I was turning 30. We had just finished lasagna at my parents' house, and everyone was squeezed into the living room. Balloons, store-bought cake, a 30 candle that sagged to one side. Emma looked between us, already grinning. "Seriously? Me?" Mom waved a hand. "Go on, honey. It's from us. You'll see why." I watched Emma peel off the envelope. She didn't even read it. She just tore the flap, and my own name flashed at me for half a second. "To Samantha, happy 30th. We are so proud of you." My stomach dropped. Emma ripped the paper, opened the box, and gave a scream. "Oh my God, no way, no way." She pulled out a key fob. The Toyota logo shined under the lamp. Dad did a little mock, surprised face. "Well, guess you're the one who's getting a car tonight." Everyone laughed. Everyone except me. I stared at the card now half crumpled on the floor beside Emma's feet. My name was still written there in thick blue ink. "Wait," I said, and my voice sounded off, too flat. "I thought that was—" Mom cut in smoothly. "Samantha, sweetheart, you already have a car. It runs. Emma's been taking the bus at night. You know how dangerous that is." Emma jumped up, hugging Dad. "I can't believe you got me a car. I thought this was for Samantha." Dad chuckled. "It was going to be for her, but we talked and decided you needed it more right now. She understands. She's always been the responsible one." Everyone looked at me like I was supposed to nod on cue. I opened my mouth, then closed it again. My cheeks burned so hot I could feel my pulse in them. Mom rolled her eyes when she saw my face. "Oh, come on. You're 30, Samantha. Birthdays don't matter anymore. You know that. You don't need presents. You have a good job, your own place, your own car. This is about helping your sister get on her feet." Emma, still clutching the keys, tried a guilty smile. "Thanks, big sis. You know I love you, right?" I swallowed whatever was in my throat. "Sure. Yeah, congrats," I said. My dad clapped me on the shoulder hard. "That's my girl, always thinking of family." An hour later, I drove home in my 12-year-old Honda, the same one I'd bought used in college and kept alive with YouTube tutorials and junkyard parts. My hands shook on the steering wheel the whole way. When I got to my apartment, I didn't cry. I didn't rant. I didn't call anyone. I opened my laptop, logged into my email, and pulled up the confirmation from the travel agency. Spain, 40th anniversary trip. James and Carol Parker. Total, $18,047.62. Non-refundable after next week. Fully refundable tonight. I hovered over the cancel booking button for maybe 10 seconds. Then I clicked. As the cancellation confirmation hit my inbox, I stared at the subject line. "Your trip to Spain has been canceled. Full refund processed." My name is Samantha. I'm 30 years old, a software engineer, single, no kids. And that moment wasn't about a car or a trip. It was about finally understanding something I had been refusing to see my entire life. This wasn't the first time I'd been treated like the family's wallet. It was just the first time I hit cancel. Growing up, the roles were almost a joke. I was the easy one, the grown-up kid, the little adult. Emma was the baby, our princess, just a free spirit. I'm 2 years older than her. It doesn't sound like much, but in our house, it might as well have been a decade. From as early as I can remember, the expectations were split down the middle. If I forgot to unload the dishwasher, it was a lecture about responsibility and how will you survive when you move out. If Emma forgot, Mom would chuckle. "She's just tired. She had a long day at school." At 12, I had a weekend paper route and was saving for my first gaming console. At 12, Emma got a brand new tablet to help with homework. At 16, I got a handshake and the car keys to Dad's old Civic with 180,000 miles on it, plus a list of rules. I paid my own gas, my own insurance, and half the maintenance because you want independence, you pay for independence. At 16, Emma got a lightly used Corolla they financed for her, complete with a ribbon on the hood and an Instagram photo shoot in the driveway. Dad bragged to the neighbors about doing right by his girl. When college came, it got clearer. I wanted to go out of state. Money's tight, Dad said. He sat me down at the kitchen table with a printed spreadsheet. Look, we can afford to chip in a little, but you're smart. You can get scholarships, loans. We'll pay your phone and health insurance, but tuition's on you. We have to save for Emma too, you know. So I went to a state school, worked 20 hours a week in the campus computer lab, took out $28,000 in federal loans, and another $8,000 in a private one my last year. Every time I bought groceries, I did the mental math of interest rates. 2 years later, when it was Emma's turn, suddenly the story changed. She's not like you, Mom told me over the phone. She's not as practical. She needs a good school to thrive. They pulled from a small inheritance from my grandfather that I vaguely remembered being for both girls someday, and used almost all of it to pay Emma's first 2 years at a private university. I found out by accident when Emma posted a picture of her campus with the caption, "Grateful for parents who make dreams come true. Debt-free, baby." I stared at that caption for a long time. Every time I brought up the difference, Mom had an answer. "We helped you in other ways. You never asked directly. You're the one who wanted to move out so early. You're just more independent. That's a good thing." After college, I moved 2 hours away, got my first real IT job at $52,000 a year, and learned how to stretch every paycheck. Rent, loans, groceries, gas, internet. I lived with plastic plates for 2 years because I refused to carry a balance on my credit card. Meanwhile, Emma flunked a couple of classes, changed majors twice, wrecked the Corolla in a late-night fender bender, and moved back home to reset. Guess who helped pay the deductible on the car insurance? Just this once, because Mom called me crying about how we just don't have the money right now. I wired them $600 that week. That became a pattern. $200 here for a surprise medical bill. $150 there because we're short for the gas bill. $300 for Emma's laptop when hers just died. Always framed as temporary. Always framed as family helping family. Once we get through this rough patch, we'll pay you back, Dad promised over and over. They never did. By the time I turned 27, my salary had climbed to $90,000. I'd moved into a one-bedroom apartment with actual furniture and a decent TV. I still made my student loan payments on time. I still had my old Honda, holding on by sheer stubbornness. Mom loved to brag to her friends that Samantha is doing so well. She's so successful. We raised her right. But whenever money came up, the subtext was nasty and simple. You're okay. She's not. You have to help. It's what good daughters do. I stayed connected because they were my parents, because cutting them off over money felt monstrous, because under all the guilt and unfairness, I did love them. I knew they'd worked hard, that we'd never been rich. I remembered Dad coming home from the factory exhausted, Mom always hustling side gigs. It made it way too easy to justify every new little request. And because of that, by the time I hit 30, I wasn't just the responsible one. I was the fixer, the family tech support, and most importantly, the walking, talking emergency fund. Once I had a stable job, the amounts got bigger. The first big one was the roof. I was 28, sitting in my office cubicle when Mom called me in tears. "Samantha, honey, the roof is leaking. There's water in the hallway." We called a guy. He said it'll be 4, maybe 5,000. We don't have that kind of money. If we wait, it could collapse. You know how your dad's back is. We can't be dealing with that mess. Guilt punched me right in the chest. The house I'd grown up in falling apart. I pulled up my budgeting spreadsheet and stared at the numbers. $12,000 in savings. $4,200 emergency fund. I'd been dreaming about finally upgrading my car. "How much exactly?" I asked. She sniffed. He said $4,800 total, but we can maybe do some if we skip some bills. I hate asking you. Dad took the phone. "Sweetheart, if you can lend it to us, we'll set up a payment plan. I'm talking real payments. We'll make it right this time." I wired them $3,800 the next day so they could meet the roofer halfway. For 6 months, I got $100 a month back. Then the payments quietly stopped. Every time I mentioned it, there was a new crisis. The car needed new tires. My hours got cut this month. "Your sister's been struggling. We had to help with her rent." I stopped asking. It felt petty to chase my own parents over money they clearly didn't have. Then there was the dental thing. Emma cracked a tooth. No insurance. Sudden bill for $2,200. "Samantha, she's in pain," Mom said. "You know how scary dental infections can be. We'll figure out a way to pay you back." I put it on my credit card and paid it off slowly, watching the interest nibble at my future. In the family group chat, Dad sent a selfie of Emma giving a thumbs up in the dentist chair. "Emma's angel big sister saves the day again," he wrote. Everyone reacted with hearts. Emma texted me privately. "Samantha, you're the best. I swear I'll pay you back when I get a real job." She never did. At 29, I got a big promotion to senior engineer, $120,000 a year plus bonus. I decided to finally start doing something for them that wasn't just plugging leaks. Mom had always talked about Spain. Her parents were from a tiny village outside Valencia she'd never seen. They used to joke that when they hit their 40th anniversary, they'd celebrate properly in Europe. So I did the math, opened a separate savings account, and started putting aside $800 a month. In 14 months, I hit my target, $18,000. Enough for business class flights, 12 nights in Spain, decent hotels, trains between cities, a nice anniversary dinner on the coast. I called a travel agency instead of just clicking around online. I didn't want to get it wrong. The agent walked me through everything. Round trip from Chicago to Madrid, June 12th to 24th. Business class for both, transfers included, and we'll do a 10-day guided tour with 3 days of free time at the end. That comes to $17,420.87 with all taxes and fees. Do you want trip insurance? Up to 7 days before departure, full refund. After that, partial only. I said yes, gave my card details, watched the charge hit my account like a small earthquake. But I was excited. It felt good to use my money for something big and joyful instead of bailing out emergencies again. I kept it a secret for months. When Mom complained about bills, I bit my tongue because I was already doing something bigger. When Emma posted about needing a miracle to pay for another certification course, I didn't offer to help. I'm focusing on something else right now, I told myself. Meanwhile, the pattern at home kept grinding on. One night, I drove in for dinner and walked in to hear my name mid-rant. Emma was at the table with Mom, scrolling her phone. "I'm just saying," Emma said. "Samantha makes what? 6 figures now. She could buy a Tesla if she wanted. I'm drowning and she acts like I'm asking for a kidney when I mention rent." Mom sighed dramatically. "You know your sister. She hates feeling needed. She thinks money is love, but only when she gives it on her terms. We had nothing at her age. She should be grateful we're still here for her." I froze in the hallway listening. Dad noticed me first and pasted on a smile. "Samantha, we were just talking about you. Grab a plate." I sat down, heart thumping. Emma didn't even look embarrassed. "Hey, big sis," she said. "I got an interview, but I need a car that won't die on the highway. Gas is killing me. That Honda of yours is a miracle, but not everyone's a car whisperer." Dad laughed. "We were actually talking about that. Your mom and I have been thinking maybe for your 30th we can do something special. You've always had hand-me-down wheels. It would be nice to get you into something safer." I stared at him. It was the first time in my life they had ever volunteered to buy me something big. "Like a new car?" I said slowly. Mom smiled. "Not brand new, obviously, but something reliable under warranty. You deserve it. You've done so much for us." Something warm and stupid bloomed in my chest. I told myself not to get attached. I did anyway. Over the next month, Dad and I texted back and forth about models. I sent links to used Camrys, Corollas, maybe a small SUV. He insisted on going to his guy at the dealership. "We'll surprise you," he said. "You just tell me what color you like." "Anything that's not beige," I joked. Meanwhile, I kept planning the Spain trip. I picked hotels that had elevators because of Dad's back. I picked a guided day in the village where Mom's parents grew up. I added travel insurance with a click. The agent reminded me I had until the end of the month to cancel for a full refund. I timed the reveal in my head. First, the car keys at my birthday dinner. Then the folder with the Spain itinerary. Finally, I thought things would feel even. Not perfectly fair, but less lopsided. The night of my birthday, my Honda barely made it up their street. The check engine light flickered. I parked behind a shiny white Corolla I didn't recognize. Huh, I thought. Guess one of their neighbors got an upgrade. Inside, the house smelled like garlic and cake. Balloons, banner, the whole thing. Emma bounced over to hug me. "Happy old lady day," she said. I kept glancing out of the window, looking for some hint that the car outside was mine. I didn't see anything, just Dad going in and out, looking mysterious. Dinner was normal. Jokes, stories, Dad doing his dad toast. And then, as people shifted to the living room, he picked up that silver box from behind the couch and made a show of it. I honestly believed it was for me until he put it in Emma's hands. When she pulled out that exact same key fob we'd texted about for weeks, I felt the world tilt. "Wait," I said, "is that the Corolla out front?" Dad said proudly, "We worked out a deal with my guy. She's got a real job now. She needs reliable wheels to get to interviews and everything. We almost made it your surprise, sweetheart. But we realized, he looked at Emma, then at me. She needs it more than you do. You're used to making do, Mom added. And honestly, you're 30. Birthdays don't matter anymore, you know that. Presents are for kids. But the card says, I started. Mom scooped the envelope off the floor and crumpled it without looking. Who cares what the card says? It's just paper. Emma hugged me, the key fob digging into my shoulder. I swear I'll drive you around sometimes, she laughed. It's like we're sharing it. Everyone laughed. I didn't. On the way home in my rattling Honda, I realized there would be no Spain reveal, no folder, no surprise dinner. They had made it very clear how they valued my gifts versus my needs. By the time I pulled into my parking spot, the warm, stupid feeling from a month ago was dead and gone. It had been replaced by something colder, heavier, and very, very clear. The breaking point wasn't dramatic. No screaming, no smashed plates, just me, sitting at my small kitchen table with my laptop open and my cat sniffing at the corner of the Spain itinerary. I read through it again slowly. Day 1 to 3, Madrid. Day trip to Toledo. Day 4 to 6, Valencia region village visit. Day 7 to 10, Barcelona. Day 11 to 12, free time in Madrid. Total, $18,047.62. I clicked the Manage Booking link and logged into the agency portal. A yellow banner at the top flashed. You are still within the full cancellation window, 7 days before departure. My cursor hovered over Cancel Trip. I thought about the last 10 years, the roof money, the dental bill, the car deductible, the late-night emergency transfers. Every, you're so generous. Every, we'll pay you back. That never happened. I thought about the car conversation, about Dad telling me I deserve something, about Mom saying presents were for kids. I thought about the fact that the Spain trip would mean using my vacation days to feed a dynamic where I watched my parents gush gratitude while still treating me like a utility. If I let this go ahead, I'd be paying $18,000 for a celebration where I was going to sit in the corner and watch them toast each other for being such good parents. My fingers finally moved. Click. Cancel trip. The site asked for a reason. From a drop-down, I picked Change of Circumstances. A pop-up appeared. Are you sure? This action will cancel all flights, hotels, and tours. A full refund will be processed to the original payment method. Yes, I was sure. I clicked again. A progress wheel spun. My heart thudded in my ears. Then, your booking has been canceled. Refund $18,047.62 expected within 5 to 7 business days. A confirmation email has been sent. My phone buzzed immediately. I opened the email and double-checked that the refund was coming back to my card, not theirs. I'd put everything in my name. I'd been careful about that, at least. Then I did something I'd never done before. I opened my banking app and removed my parents' name from the frequent transfer list. The $400 automatic monthly transfer I'd set up when Dad's hours had been cut. I canceled that too. One by one, I closed the little windows where my money leaked out. No more emergency auto payments. No more family Netflix on my card. No more shared phone plan. Next billing cycle, I would port my number to my own account. It took maybe 20 minutes to untangle 3 years of quiet financial dependence. Each click felt like setting down a heavy box I'd been carrying for so long, I'd forgotten my back hurt. Finally, I opened a blank email. Subject about the Spain trip. I kept the body short. Hey, Mom and Dad, I wanted to let you know I've canceled the Spain trip I'd booked for your 40th. The full refund is coming back to me after tonight. It's clear to me that we see gifts and support very differently. I'm not comfortable continuing to make large financial gestures while my own needs and boundaries are treated as less important than everyone else's. This isn't punishment. I'm not asking for anything back. I'm just done putting myself in the position of being the default provider. Going forward, I won't be able to help with bills, emergencies, or big purchases. I trust that you and Emma can figure things out together the same way I've been expected to. I love you, but I need some space. Samantha. I read it 3 times to make sure there was no cheap shot, no gotcha line, just facts. Then I hit send. I closed the laptop, turned off my phone, and went to bed. I slept like I hadn't slept in years. I turned my phone back on around noon the next day. It nearly exploded. 12 missed calls from Mom, 5 from Dad, 3 from the house line, dozens of texts in the family group chat. I started at the top. Mom, Samantha, what did you do? Mom, I just got an email saying our Spain trip is canceled. This must be a mistake. Dad, call us now. Emma, dude, what happened? Mom is crying. Then the group chat. Dad, apparently Samantha canceled our anniversary trip over what? A car? Really? Mom, is this because of last night? That was a gift. We can give our gift to whoever we want. Emma, you're punishing the whole family because I got a car. Are you serious? I sat at my kitchen table again, phone in hand, feeling strangely calm. For once, I didn't feel a surge of panic or an urge to fix their feelings. I typed one message in the group chat. Me. I canceled a trip I paid for that you didn't know existed, after realizing I'm not comfortable making big sacrifices for people who think my needs don't matter. You chose to re-gift my birthday present in front of me. I'm choosing not to fund luxury vacations anymore. That's all. There was a long pause. Then, Mom, you're being dramatic. We did everything for you when you were little. This is how you repay us? Dad, you're acting like some kind of stranger. We're your parents. It's our right to decide who needs what. Emma, enjoy your money, I guess. Don't call me next time you need family. I muted the conversation. The next few weeks were weird. Mom tried alternating strategies. Day 1, anger. You've embarrassed us. I told everyone about that trip. How do I explain this now? Day 3, guilt. We're not getting any younger. What if something happens to us before we have another chance? Day 7, martyrdom. I always knew you'd leave us behind once you got rich. You're just proving me right. I responded once in a separate text. I'm not rich. I just stopped letting you spend my money for me. I'm willing to have a relationship, but not one where I'm your safety net. When you're ready to talk without shouting or guilt, I'm here. They didn't take me up on it. Not right away. I started therapy a month later after a coworker recommended her counselor. Saying everything out loud to a stranger made me realize how normalized it all had become in my head. By the time summer rolled around, the time they were supposed to be posting sangria pictures from Barcelona, my refund had long since landed. I used part of it as a down payment on a certified used hybrid. Not brand new, but quiet, safe, and mine. I signed the papers alone. No parents, no speeches. Driving home in that car felt different. Not like winning. More like finally sitting in a seat that fit me. 6 months after the cancellation, Mom called. Her voice was smaller than I remembered. We went to Branson instead, she said. Your father found a bus tour deal. It wasn't Spain. I hope you had a good time, I said, and meant it. She hesitated. Things have been tight. Your father's overtime stopped. Emma moved out with some friends. She's paying her own rent now. It's been an adjustment. I'm sure it has, I said. I've been adjusting too. There was a long silence. Then, quietly, I didn't realize how much we leaned on you until you stopped letting us. I don't like how you did it, but I get why. I think I'm glad you're thinking about it, I said. My door is open. My wallet isn't. That's not going to change. She gave a half laugh, half sob. You always were stubborn. We're consistent, I said. A year later, my life is smaller in some ways, but it fits better. I still see my parents a few times a year. We meet at restaurants. I pay for my meal. They pay for theirs. Sometimes we split dessert. If they start drifting into, you could help with, I shut it down gently. Mom, Dad, I'm not available for money talks. If you want to see me, let's keep it to that. Emma and I text occasionally. She sends pictures of her beat-up little hatchback and complains about repairs. Once she joked, now I know what it's like to be you for a change. I replied, welcome to adulthood. She sent back a single eye roll emoji, but she hasn't asked me for money since. Last month, I finally used some of that Spain budget for myself. Not the whole trip, just a week in Valencia with a cheap Airbnb and long walks by the water. I sat in a cafe one afternoon watching older couples stroll past holding hands and thought about the anniversary trip that never was. I felt a little sad. I still wish my parents and I had the kind of relationship where that gift would make sense, but I also felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. On my last night, I ate a simple dinner alone on a balcony. Grilled fish, cheap wine. My laptop closed for once. I texted my therapist a picture of the streetlights and wrote, "Thanks for helping me get here." Literally and metaphorically. She replied with a thumbs up. If there's a moral to any of this, it's not cancel your parents' vacations or never help family. It's this. If you let people treat you like an endless resource, they will. Not because they're evil, but because it's easy. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do, for them and for yourself, is to stop funding a system that runs on your silence. Birthdays might not matter to my parents anymore, but my boundaries do, and I'm finally acting like that's true.